Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about the PH-1. That's the essential phone that a lot of people are talking about right now. I had the opportunity to get my hands on a couple of their units last night at their last roadshow here in Los Angeles. I got a chance to look at the white one and the black one. Very nice hardware, has some nice weight, some potential as far as expandability with the different modules or the different accessories that they're going to sell. And I'll show you guys some of that footage that I got there. Overall, it was a great experience. I saw a lot of people there. And at the end of the event on the way back home, I ended up making a weird and interesting decision. But let's go ahead and check out the experience overall, and I'll walk you through how I got to that decision. This is TK. Let's check it out. The event was held here at the EP&LP restaurant in Los Angeles, and it was very nice to be able to see a lot of people there. There was a lot of interest. It wasn't super packed. I mean, there was a lot of people there, but again, it was nice enough that you actually had the opportunity to talk to some of the people behind the actual hardware manufacturing, the design choices, the materials that they chose. Also, you had the opportunity to ask questions that you normally wouldn't even get answers to, even if you tried, let's say, email or whatever. And overall, the hardware materials that we saw there, you saw the different pieces, how they actually put together the titanium frame with the ceramic, and how they put in the, the 5.7-inch display, the Quad HD display, and of course, some of the decisions made as far as, how much RAM, with the 4 gigs of RAM that we have internal, as well as the options of, going to 128 gigs of internal storage with no expandability. And last but not least, of course, not having a 3.5mm headphone jack. But again, all of this comes together in a nice, simple design, and that's the best way I can explain it. It's a simple design, very clean, very nice edges. When you hold it in your hand, you have nice weight into it, and you feel like it's really nice. You have so much real estate, and you don't even see the edges. You don't see those, the chin or even the bezels or any of those things. It's definitely manageable with one hand. The UI is extremely simple, very close to stock, reminding me a lot of the Google Pixel that I have, because of the fact that you just have, obviously, Google Home on the left side, and then Google Now on the left side, and of course the swipe up for the app drawer. And from that point of view, you can definitely expect a lot of updates. Hardware, not as much. Software definitely being able to go up without having too much work being done. Now, as far as some of the decisions that they decided with, they went with an LCD display over OLED, and that's mostly because of the maturity of the hardware and what they wanted to do with it. To get that nice display, to be able to go around the front-facing camera and actually be a solid piece and not have too many issues with the display, LCD was the initial design. But what I heard, and after talking to a few people, is that if OLED is ready for PH2, once the next device come out, then they're definitely going to be interested in putting in with OLED and having much better contrast, better representation for displays. But again, with it being an IPS display, when I was holding it in my hand, it looked extremely nice, sharp, clean, no problems, and didn't notice any light bleeding, at least not on the hardware that I was holding. But overall, it definitely really nice experience using the LCD display. And one of the other thing I noticed also, that the website only showed 4 colors, but there was a couple of extra colors that were available there. As far as backplates, they were showing us the ceramic ones, and then we had the white one, the blue, the gray, the ocean mist or ocean depth, which essentially really is that kind of mossy green. So there's definitely going to be a lot more options than what we see on the website right now. The 4 colors right there are the initial release, and there'll be other options down the road. Now, as far as accessories, I was able to talk to some of them, and they said that obviously the dock is going to be in the works, and that's coming out very soon. The home dock, which essentially running ambient OS, will also be coming out soon, but they didn't have that much detail around that. As far as accessories to the PH-1, there's a potential of a camera, a better DAC, the ability to maybe even go in with wireless charging, as the PH-1 does not have that. So one thing you want to look at the PH-1, it's essentially kind of an initial offering with the ability to expand on it and fix and add different things later. And the future proofing that they're talking about is very simple. It's actually those 2 connectors on the right side of the back of the device. And the reason I say this is, even a year from now or 2 years from now, let's say they release this super duper accessory that we all want, it'll still work with the PH-1, and that's because those pins will still be there. They may move them to a different part of the device, but it's going to be there. So that's something you want to be aware of, that the PH-1's intent is not to be actually super groundbreaking right now, but the ability to be able to stay relevant a year from now, 2 years from now, with the hardware that you have. Here's some of the things, and I'm not trying to nitpick at this, but these are some of the things that I would have expected, at least some more information, or at least available at the initial launch. Ambient OS, there wasn't much about this on the floor. Nobody was talking about it. They were just focusing on the Essential phone, which again, this was the event for the Essential phone. But again, a lot of the people are really looking into the background, what's going to be making this device super exciting, super great. And really what we saw essentially is a few hardware pieces as far as how the essential phone was put together, the frame, the backing, the different colors, the background on the camera. And then you got a chance to talk to some people. I would have liked to see at least maybe a demo or even some renders or even some more information about the actual ambient OS. Using OLED as far as being an option for the second generation, it was a little bit of a letdown for me because I'm here and I don't even have my first phone. So that was the other thing. The first one's going to be coming out again. IPS LCD is not bad. We've seen it for years on the LG devices. They look great. These devices actually, or these displays are actually capable of providing us with really good experiences. They're not going to be at the same level as OLED as far as power saving even, because remember, OLED does actually turn off pixels where LCD is on all the time. Even if you're looking at a black picture, it's on. When I asked them about the actual case support, are they going to be making cases? Are they going to be working with manufacturers to make cases? The initial answer I got is what cases? And that meant that they're not really intending you to have a case on this device. They said, look, we built it out of, titanium as well as ceramic so that you can actually have it. And if it falls a couple of times, which he did, he actually dropped it 3 times intentionally in front of me. And I cringed 3 times. I don't know why, but he kept doing it. And even though I knew the phone was fine, it's just not a really good feeling. We always get that whenever we have a device. We take care of them so much that even another person's phone dropping makes you feel bad. At the end of the day, the devices look good. I did see another model on the floor that looked like it took a little bit more beating than the one he was showing me. But again, it depends on the surface. It is built very nicely. You definitely feel it when you're holding it. It feels solid. It has some weight into it. It's not a light, tiny toy, but it really feels good. And it's housing a 3040 milliamp battery. So it's actually pretty decent as far as the weight between titanium, ceramic. These are all heavy materials. When it comes to the 3.5mm headphone jack, or the lack of the 3mm headphone jack, it's due to the fact that their vision with this device is to go wireless. The current version of it actually only has the USB Type-C as a transition point, meaning the next version of the PH device or the Essential phone will not have a USB Type-C connector, and everything will be done using that currently proprietary method of transferring data using USB 3.0 wireless. And actually those pins in the back that you see, a lot of people confuse those as data transfer. They're purely magnets. They're only keeping the actual accessory on, and everything is done wirelessly, which also contributes to the fact that we have some heat there. So that's something that if you've ever wirelessly charged your device, you notice that the back of the device heats up. Wireless charging or wireless transmission of information does generate heat, and there's some things that you want to be aware of with these devices. 2 13-megapixel cameras in the back and an 8-megapixel camera in the front. The 13-megapixel cameras pair in the back are 2. One is monochrome, one is color, and the monochrome is intended to basically capture the details in the background, and of course the color is to be able to give us the color images that we want. And the initial samples that we've seen have not been so stellar. It has not stand up to, let's say, an iPhone camera or the Galaxy S8 camera or some of the main cameras that a lot of us wanted this hardware to do. And the short answer that I got from them was, look, we wanted to make a good device, a good solid device to come out of the market with an interesting, unique design. Some compromises were made in the hardware for the camera to be able to give you that nice design, the flush back, no bumps, nothing standing out from this device other than just the Essential device itself. You hold it, you have the buttons, you interface with it. So if the camera doesn't perform at that level, that wasn't our goal. And I did express to them that obviously I've seen some people using the Google camera to be able to get better pictures out of it with the HDR+. And the answer to that was, yes, you may get better pictures from one of the sensors, but at the end of the day, the Google camera is not going to be compatible with the dual sensors. So you're not getting the RGB and the monochrome and combining them in the actual software. You're still basically just using the single lens. Now, could they fix some of this? Could they improve the camera? Definitely. Could they fix the hardware? No, unless they use an extended or one of those modules that I was talking about. They could basically snap on the back like the 360 camera that can do 4K and then get better pictures out of it. So it's not a dead end. It's something that they could definitely work on and improve. But again, at the end of the day, that's really what their model is. If it's not there yet, we're going to build it and make it better. So at the end of the event, after having been there for about an hour, having some hands-on with the device, talking to the different people there, it was a great experience, and I felt like the device definitely has a lot of merit to stand on and has a lot of potential to basically go for. So as I was driving back home, I thought about it. I thought about the fact that at $700, what are we getting? Is this something that we should basically be driving towards with something that had some compromises on the camera? No headphone jack, no wireless charging. Now, splash proof, not waterproofing. But other than that, really, I mean, what's the difference between that and the OnePlus 5 at this point? I'm looking at it from just like apples to apples. Same processor. The OnePlus 5 has 2 more gigs of RAM. The OnePlus 5 has the same amount of internal storage. It's a lot cheaper than what you're getting there. Yes, it's not 1080p. It's not a Quad HD. It's a 1080p panel. But when we're looking at it overall from the, what you're getting for the money, do you want to pay the extra $200, a little bit over $200 to be able to get the PH-1 and get that prestige? Or do you want to get something that you're going to be enjoying, and you're going to get a lot more updates and a lot more support, especially development support? I feel like the OnePlus 5 will soar, as the PH-1 is the first generation of its kind. So for me, I am going to actually cancel my order, and I'm going to be waiting for the PH-2. Ambient OS is going to be great. I think I'll definitely be able to make sure to actually provide that coverage on that once that becomes available. And it's independent from the PH-1. Just be aware, Ambient OS is really intended for the home, where the PH-1 is intended to be your mobile device. So it will have its own ecosystem that connect to Ambient OS, but not depending on it. So like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm not trying to make this as a negative phone about the PH-1. I think the device is great. It has a lot of potential. Unfortunately, it's just not for me right now. It needs some things to make it more compelling for it to become a daily driver for me, to take me away from, let's say, a Samsung device, or let's say take me even away from a OnePlus 5. The OnePlus 3T, in my opinion, is still actually a better option at this point. But I'm not going to waste any more time. Like and subscribe as usual. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.